Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for the stay.
So, you just started using LinkedIn Premium. Now what? Well, on your premium company page, you noticed around 7.5 times more page engagement and 5 times more page views. Well done. And now, new clients are messaging you. All because you're using LinkedIn Premium, which helps you get the business growth you want. Think big, small business. Think big. Start your free trial at linkedin.com/premium small business. That's linkedin.com/premium small business.
This show is part of the HeadStuff podcast network.
Lovely stuff.
Hey, lovely, lovely.
Tell you what, though, folks, that's bloody nice. That is bloody lovely.
Lovely Holland.
Lovely touch.
Lovely Holland. Lovely touch.
Hello.
Hello.
Very welcome to the lovely show.
Lovely international show, because we are coming, I say international, I'm booking an hour away in London, but it's a first for us. It's a first for us.
It is a first for us. It may sound like I'm taking Eurovision scores from Justine.
Yeah.
Using a subpar microphone. How are you getting on over in London, Justine?
It is going great. Honest to God, it's like, look, you've done Ed Fringe as well. You know the intensity of August, which is just show after show and pint after pint. And I think London is a nice middle ground because we have 3 days off. So this is one of my days off each week. So you have a few days off to go and potter around and find your way in the city. So it's lovely. And the reviews, we had a press night where all the press come in and review the show. And that's all been going very well.
Well, I'm glad to say the weather is fantastic in both here and London, and Justine is recording in front of a blank white wall, and her skin is identical to the colour of the wall she stands in front of.
Yes.
So you haven't been getting much sunshine.
Oh no, I'm doing 3 layers of Factor 50 before I leave the house every day because I have to, or else I will be a roast dinner. Like, there's no alternative. You'd smell me heating up, like, you'd smell me roasting. It's shocking. And I think, what's it been in Ireland? Because it's been up to 22, 23 here.
I never look at numbers for weather.
You just go by the feeling.
I go with the feeling. I think weather should be based on just pictures of clothes. Instead of a weather person saying like, oh, it's 23 or 24. Just show a picture of a jumper or a pair of shorts or a bucket hat. If it's a bucket hat, then you know it's very, very warm.
Oh, yeah. No, you can leave the jacket at home because that's the other thing. It could be warm during the day, Kevin, but you'd need the jacket in the evening. And I struggle with that because then you have to bring a bigger bag.
There you go. You're entering big bag territory.
So put that on the weather as well. Big bag or small bag.
What's the big discoveries of London since you were there last? Any new trends?
Guinness is becoming more popular over here.
Guinness has gone mad in England. They were running out of Guinness.
They were, and I was like, Jesus, but I haven't had a very bad one yet. Now, don't get me wrong. You know, it's not like home. It's not.
Standard of Guinness has improved in London town.
You've heard it here first.
You're hearing it here. This is an exclusive. This is our Guinness guru on the road, out there. She's supping pints. If there's a lack of Guinness in London, there's certainly going to be a lack when she's leaving.
And that's a Justine Stafford guarantee. But we went to, we're going to Irishy kind of bars. Like, we went to one which is hilarious when I describe this bar, but it's called The Lamb. Mm-hmm. And the sign outside of it is literally Jesus holding a lamb. So it's very Irish. Very Irish. And you go in, so this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in there. Kind of, honestly, you walk in and it's like PMax, that vibe. Even in the menu on the wall, that they're listing out the drinks. But also the lighting and the loudness of the music. It's very PMax.
Yes, it's a little bit too much music.
Just a bit too much,
Just a bit
which
too
I
much.
don't say as someone who's just getting old and doesn't enjoy the crack anymore. It's just fact. It's just a little too loud. But there's really cool 3D model in the pub up on the wall of the layers of the pub. You know the way like you did in schools, the soil
Like a
layers. and
cross
the top-
section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have on the top, it's the pub. And then underneath, it's the bar stools. Then underneath that, there's skeletal remains. And then underneath that, for some unknown reason, is the tube.
Oh, the tube. I thought you were going to say dinosaurs.
Well, if they kept, surely they'll build more to it, and then it'll be dinosaurs, and then keep going on down.
So yeah, sort of a cross section of a tube or a cross section of a pub. If you were to slice it in half,
Yes, and it was gorgeous bit of art.
if it was
Very
blown
cool,
up by a
and-
bomb in the 1970s.
And there was a man at the bar I was talking to, just a lad, an elderly fella from Ireland, and he took out pictures to show us his shed. So home didn't feel so far away.
Oh my God, that lad's probably just waiting for a
Irish accent.
white-faced young Colleen to walk in and say, "Would you like to see me shed?" Do you know what? I've been away for the last week. I'd love to see a picture of a man's shed.
And I'll tell you, it was a great shed, top
Yeah.
quality.
Well
Oh
organised.
yeah, you did varnished, 100%. You know, it'll see through the winter now. It'll see him through many, many winters.
I was down in Cork where the weather was unreal, and Irish men were out with their ditties out,
Beautiful.
jumping at the opportunity to show off their ditties. They've been sculpting these ditties for the last 6 to 8 months in the gym.
Oh, don't get me wrong, I'm jealous.
Oh yeah, well you
I'm
should.
jealous,
You should
you
be.
know.
You should be.
I am. And some of them have less hair than mine do as well. It's incredible. I am very fucking jealous. So
Yeah, the little
I'd like to see them getting them out.
the little roundabout of nipple hair,
Yeah.
the Walkinsdown roundabout of nipple hair, which we all struggle with, Justine. I wouldn't worry too much about it. So the play's going good. Any romance on the boards?
Absolutely zero. No, we haven't. There's no hot security men in the way there was in Edinburgh
Disappointing.
to reject me. So that's good because I don't think I need that right now.
What about people coming
So
backstage?
just-
If you saw somebody you liked in the crowd, you give them a bit of a wink and say, "Come back after the show."
You see, the concept of the play is I just had a one-night stand with one of the incels, so I'm probably not someone that. Well, I don't know. Maybe they're thinking, "Oh, she's put her eggs in another basket. She's into that fella there." So maybe they're seeing me as the character. I'm also on stage pretty much in my pajamas.
You're saying
It's not the most
your performance is so good, people will forget that you're actually a real person.
exactly how. I tell you, the reviews have been insane. Someone described my acting as beautiful
Oh my God.
and a fabulous performance. The Guardian said that, Kevin. The Guardian.
And I was going to say, it was a big issue. Was it one of them free magazines you get on the tube?
Depends how you classify the Guardian, whatever
Pamphlets
your own
written by
personal opinion
lunatics.
is.
Well, that's from the Guardian. They're the top dog.
They know.
They
their
know the
stuff,
crack.
Allegedly.
They know the crack.
know the crack.
A beautiful performance from Justine Stafford. You really would believe that she'd have sex with an incel. Were you using the Meisner method, the Stanislavski method, when you're digging deep into these emotions?
I tell you now, you tell me what method this is, but this is what I've always done. Like, there's a moment in the play where I have to cry, and what I do is and I don't think this is the healthiest thing to be doing,
Onions. Cutting onions.
cutting onions on stage. Have it in your pocket, ready to go. And then you have a snack after.
Yeah, there you go.
Which might explain why no one's approaching me because they smell it. Well, look, it is what it is. But I tend to, if there's something that I have to be emotional about, I'll channel it or kind of compare it to something that I've gone through.
Right.
That someone, somehow I can
I think that's
bring it back.
Yeah, I think that's Stanislavski.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have heard people say that's not good because you're kind of like putting yourself into like a vulnerable place and you're like personally that you're like over time that's not a good way to be going at it. But it's the only way I know.
Yeah, like if you're doing 12 nights where you're mining your own misery, it's probably not going to be good for the old
Yeah.
head.
But here's the thing, Kevin, I do that every day. So it's actually nice to now just be doing it and getting paid and
Getting a
getting
few
recognition
bob,
for it.
getting a few pound in the claw.
Here's the mad thing. We all went to the 24-hour shop, right? And you know the one who wants to hatch and you have to talk to the man and ask him kindly to go around the shop and pick up the bits for you. And this blew my mind. My accent was the only one he understood first time around.
He was from Ill.
He's from Duleek, so look, he wasn't too far away from me. But, he's obviously British, so that was a big win for Stafford.
So who else was there that was confusing this poor Brit?
The rest of the cast who have, fantastically well-spoken accents.
From where?
From Dublin,
Right.
Meath as well.
Okay.
And
So Irish people.
Irish people, yeah. All Irish.
So he found yours most palatable. That's good news for you as a voiceover artist. You could head over to London and explain things.
And they're doing one here tomorrow.
What?
Isn't that... Jesus, Kevin, it's all go out here.
You're not doing the luggage doors operating. That's a big gig.
There's a Piccadilly line to Cockfast. Mind your step getting off there. No, but I'm intrigued when I go into... It's for an Irish thing. But I am intrigued when I go into the studio tomorrow. When they hear me, they're going to be like, what is going on in Ireland that they're booking this girl's voice for anything?
She's actually quite popular.
But maybe I've just been in the wrong place. Maybe my accent is so hot right now in London.
This is it. The Mescals, the Kyones, the Ronans. They've been over there ploughing the field. That's not ploughing the course. What do you say? Setting up the shop.
Ploughing. Setting up shop.
Just ploughing.
Oh, they've been ploughing.
So now people are mad for Irish accents. So you're probably very exotic.
Yeah. It could be, this could be it for me.
I'm telling you. Best of luck. Well, if you have any success, you have to bring me over with you as well.
Lovely stuff.
Were you watching any of the Eurovision?
I wasn't, Kevin. I was not. We were busy doing shows and I wasn't going to watch it this year anyway.
It was a poor score from Ireland.
I didn't even see what the score. I mean, they didn't qualify, right?
No, we didn't make it, no.
But
there
I will say something.
There might be a backdoor system like the GAA where you can come back in towards the end of the season.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
If you're good. If you're good. But I have to say, I did love the song and the concept of it. Now, it's about a dog in space, so of course, they had me at the word go.
All over that. I looked up some of the most controversial entrants from Eurovision ever. If you want to go through some of them. Number 7, Ukraine, 2007. Dancing Lascia Tumbai. It was controversial because it was a wild camp performance. A wild performance. Jesus, it was wild. By a drag persona with lyrics that had some interpreted as Russia goodbye.
Oh.
So it was a huge hit. Went second, but Russian officials were pissed off because they asked Russia to please leave their country and stop killing them. Number 6, Norway, 2021, Fallen Angel. Why it was controversial? Less about the content, more about the staging. Ticks in angel wings, chained by devils. Some found the religious imagery heavy-handed.
Look at.
People are very sensitive when it comes to portraying the devil.
The religious, yeah. The devil specifically. What was that song that came out there 2 or 3 years ago and they lost their minds over the music video for it? Where does he make love with the devil or something?
Oh, yes. I remember. It was a rapping man.
It was a rapper.
And he was shifting the devil, I think.
He was, yeah. And they said he was a Satanist and all this crap.
See, the devil is a very sexy character. And I think Christians are jealous because God isn't very sexy.
No.
No matter, I've never seen a sexy image of God. He's quite a grandfatherly character.
Wouldn't be out of place in Lord of the Rings type.
Yeah, or the Dubliners. He's a Ronnie Drew sort of character. Whereas the devil, you've got Liz Hurley played the devil, a very sexy woman. Who else played the devil? It's usually like a lad with like a schmig. And he's in good shape. And he always talks like he's horny. The devil always talks like he's horny, whereas God always talks in a very comforting way.
It's a big echoey voice, but if anything, I think the appeal of God could go up if he spoke like Ronnie Drew. Never mind looking like him, but if he spoke like Ronnie Drew, now that I'm getting back into it.
The Lord declared unto Mary. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Yeah, I think we're due a revamp of God.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him portrayed. Do you know the way sometimes they have old men models? Like if you're advertising like a Jameson whiskey or a hammer or something.
A stair lift.
Yeah, and it's like a man in his 60s with a big, well-groomed beard, like he went to a Turkish barber, shirt off him, huge pecs, grey hair on the chest. Like he just looks amazing. I think we need to portray God like a sexy old man model.
Yeah. The church is looking at, and I'm hoping for the new pope, this is what his biggest plan is. Hopefully that's number one on the list.
Hey, he's a Boston. Oh no, he's Chicago, isn't he?
Chicago.
Hey, he's a Chicago pope. Gonna have that deep dish Eucharist, boys.
Slice.
Get ready for that deep dish Eucharist. There's a single pepperoni on top of it. Yeah, because he's from America. He knows what sells, Justine.
He knows what's down with the kids.
What sells? Sex sells.
Sex sells, and the devil knows it.
The devil knows it. He's well aware of this. He's been plugging away for a long time. So I think that's why Christians are so sensitive about the devil, is that he's always portrayed as a very sexy man.
Yeah.
Or a sexy woman. Well, 2014, France with Twin had a song called Moustache. It was controversial because it was not inappropriate in the traditional sense, but seen as a tone deaf. Lyrics about wanting a mustache, interpreted by some as trivializing global inequality.
What?
Let me read that again. France had a song in 2014 called Moustache. And it wasn't inappropriate in the traditional sense, but it's seen as tone deaf. Lyrics about wanting a mustache, interpreted by some as trivializing global inequality. Okay, I need to look up mustache here. So I think,
Well, that's a jump. That's someone struggling to fucking pick a theme in their English essay, and they just said, fuck it, I'm going to run with this now that I've found a connection.
Okay, here's France's mustache. So people are saying that the mustache, in this sense, represent sort of financial stability. Is that correct? I want the mustache. You have too many. The 99% have all the mustache. No, sorry, the 1%, the 99% need a mustache. Here's.
Oh, yeah. I like it.
Oh, yeah. Nice kind of 50s colours.
Yeah. Oh, it's so hot. I love it.
I thought it was going to be in English.
No, they always do it in French, and I have a weird fucking obsession with French songs and like French pop music.
I mean, it's a very sexy language.
There's a song I love, it's called Le Temps est bon, Times Are Good, and the whole song is about, times are good, I have two friends and they're also my lovers. I'm doing all right for myself.
Yeah, sometimes when you reconvert it to English, it kind of loses a lot of the poetry. So here's the lyrics of Moustache. I'm missing something, but what? I want this, I want that. When I sleep, I dream of dollars. Every day I have a new suit. Everything in my house is new. Everything is beautiful. The world cries behind my curtains. I don't care. I live on the top floor. I don't even know my cleaning lady. There's leather in my car. The smell of perfumes reassures me I don't showing my emotions. In the weight room, I lift some weights and dumbbells. My body is a war machine. I have everything you could be dreaming of having. Maybe I have it all, but I wanted a mustache. A mustache, a mustache, have a mustache. A mustache, a mustache, have a mustache. So it's about a man who has everything, and yet,
except
the one thing he wants is a mustache. Could you interpret that as making fun of the inequality problem in this world?
Well, I think it's weird that he's decided to say he's dreaming about dollars because he's French and they have the euro. So he lost me at that because I was like, you're not even aware of your own currency.
Well, okay, I'll counteract that point. What sounds better? Justine, you look like $1 million Or Justine, you look like €1,000,000. It just doesn't sound
Punts. Go by punts, please.
good. You look
Bring
like
me back to
£1,000,000
the
punts, as in completely worthless. You're found under an old man's bed in a farmhouse.
In a shed.
In a
You
shed.
showed me in the pub last week.
Fuck, I forgot they were buried there. Next up, we got number 4, Slovenia, 2002, with Sestre. It was controversial, a drag trio of flight attendants which challenged conservative viewers at the time. I think literally the only controversial thing about that is that it was a drag act in 2002.
Ahead of its time.
Also, a year after 9/11, don't be dressing up as flight attendants. We're still sensitive about that whole thing.
That's probably the bigger kind of risky move, to be honest.
Yeah. I suppose it'd be worse if they were dressed up as the Taliban.
Or used a smoke machine or something.
Number 3, Lithuania, 2006, with We Are the Winners.
This is one of my favourite songs. I'm so glad you mentioned this. I remember it vividly. We are the winners of Eurovision. We are. No, this is a banger. I hate that they're saying this is controversial. Now, it's a bit rich to just assume you're the winner.
Well, here's why it was controversial, as you probably guessed. The song blatantly claimed, we are the winners of Eurovision, with no irony. It was seen as arrogant and cringeworthy. And it reached 6th place in the final. 6th place isn't bad.
No, I will forever have it in my mind. They reach the kind of key change at the end, and they're all in suits and looking like businessmen. And then they have briefcases, and when the key change starts, this one lad just gets down and starts breakdancing, and it is phenomenal.
Nice.
I thought it was glorious. I really did.
You didn't find it arrogant?
I thought it was a bit now. Like, you're getting ahead of yourself. But people always go on about you need to be confident and believe and all that. So.
Well, that's a new thing, Justine. This is 2006. Nowadays, it's all very cool to be confident in yourself and your body and your achievements.
But back then,
2006, Justine, was a different time. That's 20 years ago.
I was 11.
You were 11.
So
if you went into school and said, "I'm going to win the sports day," they'd say, "No, you're not, Justine. You're actually supposed to be just handing out the medals."
Me saying that would have been a bit.
And mind that tuck shop, Justine. Where's the keys to the tuck shop?
Justine, where's all the kids' lunches gone? Oh no, I wouldn't. Now, sure, look at the egg and spoon race. The egg was gone from them before we even got to the starting line.
Justine, there's a dozen eggs here. Maybe we could use a round stone.
The shell and all is eaten.
Number 2, Israel, 2007, a controversial gang of lads.
Yes,
at the best
full
of time.
Stop, like.
So they had a group called T-Pax, and their song was "Push the Button."
Well, they ripped off the Sugar Babes. That's the controversy as well.
Also, wasn't there a Chemical Brothers? Push the button now. So pushing the button was very popular this is before we had sort of touch screens. We used to hit buttons.
In the day.
Yeah. Now it would be swipe the button.
Swipe.
So it was controversial because lyrics referenced nuclear war and instability in the Middle East. Eurovision typically avoids overt political statements. It sparked debate, but it was also allowed to perform. But it failed to qualify. Yeah, I suppose if you're at war, don't have a song called "Push the Button," throw the flaming bottle.
Or a country involved in that war.
Yeah.
Maybe just don't have them. Full stop.
Maybe just don't have them. Number 1. Who do you think is going to be number 1?
Okay, let me think
most
here.
Controversial.
Oh, it has to be Lordy.
Really? You don't think anything closer to home?
I was going to say, was it last year?
It was 2008. Ireland was in the midst of...
Dustin.
Ireland, just paint a little picture here. Ireland was in the middle of a huge recession. The Celtic Tiger was definitely dead and dead in the grave. And what phoenix emerged from the flames of Ireland's ashes but a turkey phoenix?
Yes.
This was when we sent Dustin the turkey with Irlande dus Point. It was controversial because a puppet turkey with a satirical, chaotic song mocking Eurovision itself. Many saw it as a joke entry, which upset fans who wanted a serious contender. It was booed during rehearsals and failed to qualify for the final. I think what I most like about it is, like you, we always liked Dustin's albums.
Yes.
And Dustin, for people too young to remember, would frequently release an album like nearly every year. And the songs were great. They were a mixture of like song parodies and original funny songs. And we loved him. And he can clearly write a good song. But he just sent, no pun intended, he sent an absolute turkey, Justine.
But I'll say this, what was it? A couple of years back, it was like some anniversary for the Eurovision and they had previous entries. And it was him. They invited him over and he was being interviewed by the actress. She was hosting it. Gillian, is her name Gillian? She is in
X-Files?
Ted, the show about the football manager.
Ted Lasso. Yeah, I know. Yes. I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
she was there interviewing him, and I'm like, oh, so you hated him, but now you're bringing him back as one of the most iconic entries, ahead of his time.
Same with Bertie Ahern. People forget. People forget the damage he did.
Well, I'd be a bit confused if they were interviewing him at the Eurovision. I'd be like, what is...
No, you couldn't trust him. He'd have all the envelopes opened before the end of the show.
One of the lads was saying to me there about Bertie in Fagans a couple of years back, lucky years back, they had...
In Drumcondra.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Is a place he frequents, I believe.
A place where he used to dip his beak.
Beak. I mean, his picture, I believe, is on the wall as well in there. But
yeah, probably don't accept checks from this man.
They were promoting this new concept they had of 3D football matches, and you'd watch the match with 3D.
I remember this.
Glasses on you.
I remember this. It arrived in Ghana. Yeah.
And he was quoted. There's a picture of him in the paper with the glasses on, and he says, "You feel like you're at the game." And he said, "This is going to be the future of football." That must have lasted a wet week. That people realised this is. With the angles that football is also broadcast, it doesn't make sense. Unless the ball is being shot directly into the camera, you would feel it's like coming at you.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen in a football game.
No, you'd need to strap 3D cameras to the players, or at least along the sidelines, like they have in rugby matches, you know.
How that hasn't actually been introduced is interesting now that you say it. I feel that could be something that starts happening. You have like player cam.
Yeah. Live inside the mind of a footballer.
Yeah.
So that was number one, Dustin Irlande du Point. If you remember, even the level of effort they put into the stage show, they basically put Dustin in a Tesco trolley.
Yeah.
And they just had people like dance.
Wrapped it around with tinfoil.
Tinfoil and tinsel. And it looked like, honestly, they spent maybe €15 tops on the whole show.
We have the resources.
Lovely stuff.
Have you noticed that Fontaine's DC are starting to sound like Dustin?
I haven't, but I feel you have.
I was in like Golden Disc the other day, and there was a Fontaine's DC song, and it was a good song, but it was like kind of that monotonous droning like lyrics, and it just sounded like hungry boy, Wicklow boy, burger bar, chips and bloody bands. And I was like, they're stealing Dustin's whole vibe.
It's a great, if someone said to me I was starting to sound like Dustin, I would take it as a huge compliment.
Of course you would.
I just wouldn't want to be like, oh, I'm stealing his stuff, is the only thing. They'll have to be careful.
Well, he's very litigious, I know that. He'll sue you into the ground.
Oh, yeah.
But speaking of song competitions, we had the Bureau de Change song contest.
This is the thing. If they think those songs in the Eurovision are controversial, they wouldn't last through an act at the Bureau de Change in the best possible way, because those songs every year, I'm always blown away by how everyone just ups their game yet again. And how I truly believe one of those acts should represent us in the actual contest.
Yeah.
At some stage in the future. I really believe that, because the standard is there, not only in the songs being bops, the lyrics being amazing, but the stage production values are there every year.
The incredible dancers, incredible costumes, Michael Fry had a costume that was just a giant moon. So Michael Fry wrote a song from the perspective of the moon.
And he was lonely.
He was a lonely moon. He hasn't he hasn't had anything since 1969.
He's only himself up there.
Yeah. And then nothing but a flag and a few footprints.
Fun fact about the moon. Did you know the second man in that, we always talk about the first man on the moon, but you know who was up with them?
Michael Collins.
Michael Collins. And I just feel bad for Michael that he went all that way and said, I'm all right, lads, I'll stay in the ship.
Yeah, I can see what you mean, though. Sometimes you're on holidays with somebody and you stop off at a place and you're like, oh, there's a really there's a beautiful view over here of the Wicklow Mountains. And you're like, oh, come here. Just tell me what it's like.
Yeah.
Was it any
I'm
good?
on my phone here.
Yeah, I can see why. Just cut me arse.
Fair play.
Yeah, God, out of all two very famous men with the same name.
Yeah, same name.
One of them,
unbelievable.
One of them shot in Cork and the other one shot into space.
Yeah, Katy Perry, jealous as fuck. She wasn't the first one. Raging. But the moon was an interesting entry because people in the crowd we had a real Boo Earns moment in real life happen where people were shouting moon, like it was glorious, but it did sound like boo. Only afterwards my friends, because I had multiple different friends at different seats saying, no, everyone was chanting moon. And I'm like, that is outstanding.
Yeah, because myself and Justine were on stage reading out the winners, and we were fully convinced that there was going to be a riot. We thought people were not happy that the moon... Did he come second or third? Second, I think.
Second.
And we thought we were going to have a riot in our hands. I thought it was going to be Altamont. But luckily, they were actually just saying moon.
Moon, which is beautiful.
It's a good note for anyone who wants to be a performer. Never give yourself a stage name that sounds like boo.
Yeah.
Like Marty Moon probably gets it a lot. Marty Moon. And he's like, oh, why does everyone hate me?
Yeah. I just want to hit the diff.
The winner was Sean Burke, who was wearing an amazing jacket made from a fucking IKEA bag.
IKEA bag.
Yeah.
It was as I said to him, you could sell those. People would be wearing them at every festival.
100%.
They are so practical. They're waterproof. And they're fucking slick.
Yeah. Probably good in the heat as well.
They have them all.
So he had a song about solving the housing crisis by everyone living in IKEA. It's a great idea.
It was such a bop. Mm-hmm. I adored it. And also, again, I'm just saying, the production value put into these acts blows me away every year. His backing dancers and performers then all had the yellow, and they looked like they worked in IKEA, like they were IKEA staff. Matching even yellow sunglasses. Every little detail was thought about.
They all looked scandy boys.
Owen Colgan had a glorious entry.
Owen Colgan had a great song where he solved racism towards the end.
He solved racism. In his own words, he said, we're going to solve it tonight.
We're going to solve it tonight.
He did.
Yes.
I mean, he did.
He hugged a man of colour on stage for no less than 15 to 20 seconds. And I think we all felt the change happening in the room.
We did. It was a beautiful moment to be there for.
Moment, yeah.
So
all of these songs.
People will ask, where were you?
Where were you when racism was solved? So if you're curious about the songs, they're all available on the internet.
Bandcamp? I believe they're on Bandcamp.
Yeah, you can download all the songs.
For €1 each.
And they all 100% of the proceeds go to the Palestinian Children Relief Fund. And you can also listen to the other albums up there as well.
Yes, because did you find it weird? Now, you've done it 2 years. This is the first year because I was so busy with rehearsals and things. I just didn't have the time. So have I. But I'm saying, do you find it weird to go from writing a song to hosting? Yeah,
so the first 3 times I sang songs, and the last 2 times I hosted, I much prefer to host.
Hosting, do you? Yeah. I just missed, look, I just want to sing about ham at every given opportunity. So I didn't get to write a song about ham this year.
Loves ham.
But I loved being there. And it's weird that you do feel less of a pressure when you're hosting than you do, because you really want to give that song socks. And it's hard to just remember all of the lyrics, and when it's being played, it's the first time really that you're going to perform it to an audience at all. And you're hoping that the sound system will be okay, that you'll still be able to hear the beat and know when you're meant to come in. So the stakes are so fucking high.
Stakes are very high. It's like a tall butcher's. But it's a great show for anyone who hasn't been there. Go next year. Such good crack.
Oh, it's incredible. And Tony Cantwell just blows me away every single year that he builds it up even more. You know, that like this year I was doing interviews with all the acts after their performance, which was class because, you know, the last few years you're kind of like, we get to see this character very briefly, and it just gives them another moment to be able to like be their character and show them off. And I'm like, Tony is just a genius. And I think the best clip I got that night was seeing Tony, who was, you know, introducing all the acts. And then when it came to him introducing himself, the height of professional, I've never seen it, to introduce himself, and then he puts down the mic and instantly like his hips shift and he's suddenly this Spanish dancing character and just like shimmies onto stage. And I'm like, that guy is a pro.
I could literally see his crotch grow as he took off those headphones. He went from being a mild Irishman with insecurities and generational guilt, and just his penis grew at least 2 sizes. His shoulders went back, his hips went out, his chest got hairier. He went, and for that brief moment, he was Spanish. I fully believed he was Spanish.
Oh, I did. And that was another moment that I can't believe we're witnessing this.
Yes,
this is history.
Transformation. It's like watching a transformer turn into a car, into a sexy Spanish man.
It's exactly that.
Lovely stuff.
Hi, it's Connor here, creator of The Greatest Matter, a Victorian Gothic crime drama. It's a tale of murder, mystery and the occult set in Victorian Dublin. And if you're an audio drama fan or a reader of Gothic stories from Arthur Conan Doyle to Bram Stoker, then it should be right up your street. Or if, like me, you're the sort of person who likes your TV, crime and mystery to be all Victorian, Sherlock, Penny Dreadful, Ripper Street, Vienna Blood, Carnival Row, then this is for you too. It's a 12-part series featuring some top Irish actors, and it's out now on HeadStuff Podcasts. Just search for The Greatest Matter wherever you're listening now.
Are your business expenses playing hide and seek? With Uber for Business, the small spends that slip through the cracks, like rides and meals, go right where you need them. Because it integrates with leading expense platforms, you can say goodbye to surprise costs, missing dollars, or chasing receipts. Everything's track downable. Uber for Business. Make small steps that make a big impact. Learn more at uber.com/small steps.
McCrispy strips are now at McDonald's. I hope you're ready for the most dippable chicken in McDonald's history. Dip it in all the sauces. Dip it in that hot sauce in your bag. Dip it in your McFlurry. Your dip is your business. McCrispy strips at McDonald's.
I also came across this, thought you might be interested in. A study conducted by Legacy Communications analysed CSO data, including population density, distance in pharmacies, A&E units and supermarkets, access to agricultural land, fresh water and high-potent multi-nutrient terrain, and determine which counties would give you the best shot at surviving if there was a zombie apocalypse.
Oh my God. Okay.
Now, you'd be surprised of the findings.
Here's the thing. Some counties kind of already in rural spots had zombies living among them. And they're generally sitting on a pub stool. I don't know when the last time they left that stool is.
Yeah.
So some counties are a bit more equipped from the get-go.
You see them when they walk to the toilet, the stool is just still stuck to their arse. It's fused. They've become half man, half stool. And, oh God, I tell you something. You want to be very, very careful not to take a man's stool, like a regular stool. Have you ever walked into a pub? I walked into a pub once and I sat at the corner of the bar and this lad said, "Oh, don't sit there." And I was like, "Oh, right, so why?"
And then a bolt of lightning struck outside.
He was like, "Oh, that's Johnny's chair." And I was like, "All right, okay." And I sat in a different chair and I ordered my drink. And I waited about 20 minutes. And I was like, God, Johnny's away a while. And he just said, "Oh no, Johnny's dead." Like, all right, okay. So we literally,
oh my God,
we're keeping that chair forever for him in case he comes back.
Oh my God. Now look, I respect that, but you'd like to think it was recent passing. We'll do it as a matter of respect.
No. This was like at least 5. He's dead at least 5 years. Like,
And I bet no one has sat in that chair ever since.
Well, if they did, they're moved fairly quickly.
Yeah.
So the findings, Justine, shows that the most dangerous county to be in is Roscommon.
That's surprising.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Despite being relatively quiet with a population density of 27.6 people per kilometre square, access to emergency services is grim. Nearest A&E is 43 km away. Pharmacies are 6 km out. A long walk if bitten. But then that you're also going like, that's also saying that if you're bitten by a zombie, then you're going to go to the hospital. Hospital's going to be no good to you.
No.
If anything, you want to be isolated.
But why would you be going to a hospital and you'll be sitting there for 3 weeks before you're sick?
You'd be there for hours. You'd literally have turned into a zombie. And then you'd have to go.
It'd be too late for you.
You'd have to go and refill out your form. Sorry, I was in for a bite. I'm actually a zombie now. Okay, well, you have to. That's a totally different department. You're in the wrong department. You're clinically dead, so you should really go to the morgue. Here, look, I'm parked outside here. Like, can I get this?
You're breaking me heart.
Can I get this validated at least? So it said the safest place to be in, west is the best, with Galway coming out on top. Low population density, far less likely to run into any infected neighbours. But it's the 28,000 hectares of lakes and reservoirs, 336,000 hectares of farmland, and the rugged mountainous terrain that makes Galway a clicker-proof paradise. Clicker is a relation to the lads from
The Last of Us.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I think they're looking at that all wrong with Roscommon because, they're saying, oh, you're miles away from it. But that means that you're miles away from the zombies.
Exactly.
The zombie be doing well. I'd actually think if I was in Roscommon and the zombie got me, I'd be like, well, look, fair play to you. I'll take it. I accept I'm a zombie now because you had your work cut out for you to find me.
Yeah.
And the internet around here is shocking. So I know you hadn't even the GPS available to you. So you really... They
also had the shame of voting no in the only county who voted no
that's the
in
thing.
the
So
marriage
as
referendum.
well, you're kind of like, I think I
shouldn't have been in Roscommon.
This was coming.
It's my own fault for going to Roscommon.
This is a long time coming. And also Roscommon, I don't know if you know this, but half of the county claims Athlone. And if you're from Athlone, that's Westmeath. But half, depending on what side you are, if you say it's Westmeath, people are like, no, it's Roscommon. I'm from Roscommon, even though they're from Athlone. So there's a whole geographical nightmare going on there as well.
They do seem geographically confused.
Yeah.
I apologise to any Roscommon listeners.
Oh no, I love Jesus. I've one of my best friends from Roscommon. Love the place, but I think if the zombie finds you in Roscommon, look it, you just have to accept it.
We have a question here from Ruth Barry, a listener, who wanted to know, is that Justine's voice on the Real Carrie Jade podcast? The answer, of course, is you'll find out next week.
Yes.
Sorry. This is the problem with a slight delay, is me and Justine are not in sync at all today. But yes, that is Justine's voice. Do they make that into a RT doc?
It's been made into a 2-part series now on RTE.
Will you get
coming out at the end of this month?
Will you get a voice in that as well?
I won't because I'm in London, so I'm not available.
They've got Dermot Gavin. Welcome back to the Real Carrie Jade. This is a real spicy story altogether.
You'd be just trying to work in shrub references and plant references throughout. And much like a growing tree, so too did my intrigue for her story, like this.
Suspicion wound up my head like ivy around a lovely birch tree.
But yeah, it is. And it was delighted to be involved in it. It's an absolutely insane story. Crazy. And it was wild because a lot of people contacted me after being like, I didn't even realize that was you because you sound so different. Because, when I'm being professional, Kevin, you have to try and enunciate.
Show me your professional voice.
Okay, let me read the back of these chocolate bars I have here. Cocoa flavoured rice cereal bar with dark chocolate and skimmed milk fat glaze, fortified with calcium and vitamin D.
That's pretty good.
Now that's me, very rough. I didn't have any prep time for that.
The match had to be cancelled due to a runaway bull.
The match had to be cancelled due to a runaway bull. See, I'm doing it in this style of...
That's good.
The thing that was told to me when we were doing the Carrie Jade podcast was your viewing this as you are telling this story directly into one person's ears. Like you are like, it's a secret, Mary. That you're like,
that's
I
good.
want to tell you this thing.
Oh, wow.
You don't know that anyone else is hearing this. This is for just. It's a bit sexy.
It is a bit sexy. Can you say there's actually a spare yogurt at the back of the fridge? I was saving it for myself, but I'm going to give it to you.
There's actually a spare yogurt at the back of the fridge. I was saving it for myself, but I'm going to give it to you.
I'm not going to lie, Justine. There's probably lads out there who'd pay money for that.
But then that's not news reporter voice, you know? Like news reporter would be like, there is a spare yogurt at the back of the fridge, and I was saving it for myself, but I'm actually going to give it to you.
The male version of that is, there's a spare yogurt at the back of the fridge. I was going to have it myself, but I'll actually give it to you.
Do you know what? I actually had
Kieran
a
Malooly,
message in about
RT
that.
News. So it's Kieran Malooly.
I had a message into us about talking about the Southside accent. And someone got in touch with me to say, yes, about the Southside accent, that originally, and they sent me on an episode of the documentary Hands, which I don't know if you remember, but was an incredible series.
Loved it.
Loved it. So they're talking to people in it from South Dublin and the Dublin Mountains specifically. And I'll be honest, they all kind of sound like the Dubliners. That's what the accent was. And this is back in the 80s.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's wild that accent has been kind of
most of the South Side was
lost.
countryside nearly. Yeah.
Yeah, which was gorgeous. I was like, oh my God, put Ronnie Drew on the news. Like, I want that accent on it. I don't know why people, and I know you were saying the point of like, we wanted to make an accent that people outside of Ireland would understand and think sounds intellectual, but I don't think that's the vibe it's given off.
I want to hear Ronnie Drew's voice on the news. President Trump was gifted a jumbo jet by the Saudi Arabians. That's a very cheeky move, considering the checkered past that Saudi Arabia have sending planes to America. What? Jeez, the last two didn't go down too well.
But they even had, like, in Hans' documentary, the person narrating it has that accent. And I'm telling you, it's poetry.
It's
and
beautiful
you're
accent.
hooked. You want to hear more. Like, everything is just, there's a lyrical element to it that you're like, this is gorgeous.
Like a busted flute.
Like a busted
Actually, I'm afraid it's all the time we have time for today, this time. This time we will be checking back in with Justine during her London adventure.
Yes.
And I can't wait to hear more. Other news, the man who does the theme tune for our song, Damien Lynch, also called Demo Dagger, has a new album out that I was listening to, and it was very, very good. And it's called No Gold, No God. And he has a song on it called, I think it's called Brother's Milk. And there's an audio clip from,
that would be controversial on the Eurovision, I'd say.
You know the clip of, is it John B. Keane talking about pints and whiskey?
Yes.
I think he's a clip of that in one of the songs. Anyway, check that out on Spotify. No Gold,
Beautiful.
No God by Damien Lynch. Justine, have you any news before we go?
Yeah, if you're in London, come down to Pleasance Theatre and see The Lost Incel. We're here until the 31st of May, and you'll get to hear me enunciate.
There you go. Talk like like a real girl. Justine, thank you very much. We'll see you next week.
Good luck.
Good luck, folks.
This show is part of the HeadStuff Podcast Network, a hub for the creative and the curious. Shows are produced in association with HeadStuff and the Podcast Studios Dublin. Find out more or become a member at headstuffpodcasts.com.